I can wait till I get through training to figure out all these personal finance things. I'll have more money to deal with anyway. Hey, it's John from FinancialMD. Welcome to today's Didactic Minute. Now, this is a common phrase, even though it's not necessarily said explicitly. Sometimes it is. I've heard it before. But during our lectures, during our consults, during our dinners, we get this kind of comment all the time, or this feeling of, I have so much to deal with right now in training. I really can't deal with personal finance things. I really don't have time to do a budget. I really don't have time to do an emergency fund or disability or Roth IRA or any of those basic things, or even think about anything beyond that, especially because I'm really busy in training. I'm working a ton. There's journal club. I've got to come home. I've got my spouse and my kids and just all these things. And then I got to interview and then I got to study for boards. And there's all these things that we have to deal with. Personal finance, I'm not saying it's not important. Yes, I've got some credit card debt. Yes, I've got a student loan payment to figure out what's the right payment and when and how much and PSLF and blah, blah, blah. But all that stuff can wait until I go into practice. I'll have more money to fix all these issues then. Maybe I'll go into a little bit more debt, but again, I'll pay it off real quick when I go into practice. Now, again, this is not something that I've directly heard. But I get the impression that when this comes up, I get the impression when this is spoken, this is the kind of thing that is on the minds of young physicians, of residents and fellows as they're going through training. And maybe they come across these videos, or they're sitting in one of my lectures, or somehow they come across Financial MD or the White Coat Investor or some other great financial education information. And there's a part of the brain that says, I should pay attention to this. I feel like I've been meaning to get to this. I should do something of this. But then, of course, there's the often more dominant part of the brain that says, I've got so much to deal with right now. The priority is just getting through. I don't think I could handle any more than that. But I'm here to tell you, and I think the White Coat Investor would back me up on this, that it is just small, boring decisions made over long periods of time that create smart financial habits, that create financial success, that create wealth, that create millionaires, whatever you want to call it. It all basically boils down to these small, boring, consistent decisions. And even just picking one thing can make a huge difference. I'll give you a case in point. I have done the math more than once, and it's in the book, Roadmap for Residents. You can check it out. But it shows just the simple fact of getting a small resident disability insurance policy when you're in training and locking in that discount, typically 20%, not a ton on a resident policy. 20% of a little bit is a very, very little bit. But then when they go into practice and their policy increases because their income increases, then they've got 20% off a much bigger insurance premium. And the savings adds up to some of the lower numbers that we've calculated, $130,000 that they save over the course of their career while they're holding this disability insurance policy. So I say that to say that one small decision, you can't argue with me and say that's not worthwhile. So that's one. And there's a ton of these little decisions that even if you just come away from our lectures or this video or any of our videos with just one small decision, that's fine. So don't be an ostrich. Don't stick your head in the sand. Pick one little thing that you're going to do this year. That's fine. That's all I'm saying. That's why I'm showing up in your feed, in your reels, shorts, TikTok, wherever you're seeing this, is to get you to just make one small decision. Make yourself a little better financially. This is John from Financial MD. We'll see you next time.